I have the pleasure of introducing probably the most humble man in this room, who has waited patiently as another elected official came in and out of the room and got to talk very fast, and I overlooked him, and other than introducing him earlier. But probably one of our longest serving public officials in the state of Texas, who's done a great job on the State Board of Education and representing families and parents. And I want to applaud him and thank him for that, and thank you for your patience right now. And so please welcome with me Mr. Ken Mercer, State Board of Education.
I go ahead and speak from here to have a conversation. A lot of what I had, we already had, but basically, I was concerned because we had several, eight or nine of the aides already leave. And as you know, the most important thing is whoever carries the legislation, we need people to sign on. So whoever's chosen to carry that, immediately contact whoever's there. I call this a parental rights bill. This is bottom line parental rights. You should know that every book in the state, and the handout I have here, which you have out there, the slides too, every book in the state goes through the State Board of Education except guess who? Health Ed. If we want to have new algebra books, we go throughout the state. We have 10, 12 publishers bring out the algebra books. The TEA comes and says, okay, how many, this book had 50%, this had 100% of all standards. We have parents, business leaders, educators come review the books. We come through and we choose maybe 6 books for the state that meets all requirements. And we go to all the 9,000 campuses in Texas. So you choose the book you want, one of these books that's been, been certified, been thoroughly vetted, and you choose that book. That does not happen to health textbooks. If you look at the law that they've been passing out, that's the only place it doesn't happen. So legislators who are here, there's one fix, because in Texas where the far left hates it, but we have clear and transparent, we have complete vetting. If it's algebra, history, government, we don't do it in health. And that could probably solve a lot of problems right there. Good news, bad news. What do you want to hear first?
Bad.
The good news, bad news. Bad news. Everything you've heard so far is true. Bad news is everything you've heard so far is true. They're good, right, good news, bad news. I can't disagree with any of it. And I want that power. If we go through the law, what's happening right now, it says in there in a 28, the section here, and I passed it out here for the legislative aides to go through. I still have House privileges, by the way, as a former state rep, so I can still meet the Republican caucus, the Freedom Caucus, whatever coalition, Pro-Life Caucus, and discuss this and help push this as a citizen, as Ken Mercer citizen, but I still have those rights. But it says appropriate levels, the law is on your side. Listen to this. Appropriate levels of instruction for human sexuality by age. That's on our side, right? It says prevent abstinence from sexuality, preferred method, choice of behavior. What Melissa shared with us, devote more attention to abstinence. The law, emphasize abstinence from all sexual activities. Abstinence from sexual activity before marriage is the most effective way to prevent pregnancy, transmitted diseases, infection from HIV, on and on, everything. You cannot distribute condoms in school. That's in the law. So what's the problem with the law? I'm sorry, I'm getting passionate. There's no teeth in the law. If you've heard me argue about Common Core and my other nemesis, it's a great law. We're against Common Core. There's no teeth. There's no penalty in there. And I'm asking the legislators who are still here, wherever write this law, look at, is there any kind of penalty we can put in there? If you're gonna spit in the face of parents, it's just not right. It's against the law. The law says a parent has the right to review curriculum materials, anything, history, government, health ed. A school district shall make all curriculum materials used in human sexuality available for reasonable public inspection. And when you go before the boards, and I'll tell you what happens, because I get mad at the State Board of Education, people drive from Amarillo, El Paso, Beaumont, and I'll ask you, what degree do you have? How many years have you taught? What are your qualifications? Here's my qualification. Number one, you're a taxpayer and you're a parent. That makes you qualified to be up there. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
That's the kind of talk you're going to hear, and you have the right to review all materials. So I'm telling you, it's in the law. The laws, but there's no penalty. There's nothing that, and everything you've heard here, everything Melissa, everything that was shared, it's all true. The law is in our side. We don't have the penalties of the law. It's a fundamental right in Texas, in America, but especially in a place called Texas, where a parent has the right to review education materials. The age level appropriate. You've heard about, the things that I've known, and I can tell you what I heard about K4 and 5, about having anatomically correct models of mom and dad. How many ways can you put together mom and dad? Or here's some of the language that mom and dad uses. That you should know what that. I don't want to even use that, because in a Senate hearing, someone would yell decorum in proper discussion among adults. How much more improper between 4 and 5-year-olds or middle school students? What is going on? The consent videos, again, these kids are meeting, and the videos that Planned Parenthood, you can go online, it's called Consent 101 to 4. The first video, you know, I only watched 2, I couldn't watch it. The first video is 2 men and then 2 women. And they both meet at a party, and they're what's called, I didn't know what grinding was, now I know. But they meet at a party and they decide they're really attractive, and they said, well, what if you say yes to sex? He says no. What if you say no? He says yes. There's all these scenarios. I'm going like, this is nuts. I don't care if it's same sex, opposite sex, or whatever. If you just met someone, you don't have a sexual activity. That's crazy in today's world. And 50% of the STDs now, every year, at least 50% you talked about, guess who it is? It's young people. Young people. The role playing, you've heard too, middle-aged kids, schools, middle school, 6th, 7th, 8th grade. Where's the Me Too movement? Mary likes Johnny, but she really wants Johnny to like her. Would she let him, and I wasn't even going to say this, but you all said, is it, oh, how about if he kisses you real heavy, if he touches your body parts on top of your clothes or under your clothes? What if you really want him to like you, but you don't want to get pregnant? And I'm going to stop there because it's embarrassing for me. And what it's led to right now, the article Ms. Newman sent out this weekend of an article called Children Sexually Assaulting Children, the rise of that, an explosion of that. Thank you, Hollywood. Thank you so much, Hollywood, what you've done to our kids. So, oh, by the way, my name is Ken Mercer, and I'm with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken, and thank you for your patience. That was incredibly powerful, and what great insight from a gentleman who has served us well on the State Board of Education and the House of Representatives before that. So thank you very much for your service.